Only 6,860 pounds despite all the awesome things it does very well. The Cougar 29 VHS here at Haylett RV, this is a personal favorite of mine. I mean, I see all kinds of RVs. And when Cougar came out with this one, I looked at it and I just went, oh man, somebody had their head on straight when they put that one together today. I mean, we've got a beautiful front windshield, a full 70 by 80 king bed, no longer a short camp king, but a new big king. Cougars, as of the windshield generation, they are all now 0 degree rated. We've got a direct entry bath door, 2 entry doors, more ride steps, a huge cargo garage, an outside kitchen. And all of this at only 6,860 pounds, just a half-ton towing beast mode of a bunkhouse. Now, entering in through the rear direct bath entry door, you see that actually the 29 BHS Cougar here at Haylett RV, it's basically fully accessible in transit. You just might have to go about it a couple different ways, but at the end of the day you can get there. You can see that you can get to all of our kitchen storage. You can get to all of the storage that's actually behind what I like to call the pantrytainment center, where the TV access door, the storage up here. Now, to get to the bedroom or the big front closet pantry combination job right here, you will need to go in through the front main entry door, but the fact is, whether you come in from the front door or the back door, or a combination of the two, eventually you can get to everything you need to in this RV, which is pretty darn handy. And what's awesome, guys, is not only is this just a really good bunkhouse, but it's got a really nice living room too. And I think that's what really takes it over the top for me. Now, normally you'd find a hide-to-bed sleeper sofa here. We have optioned this one in this video here to feature a theater seat, but we found a lot of people, once they realized that could be a thing, they were really on board and really like that, because what it gives us is an easy, direct view of the entertainment center here. And you see that that giant 4K TV swings right out to face anywhere in the slide out. Frankly, you could probably crank it to face the bunks at night a little bit if you're interested. But it's an RV that can sleep everybody comfortably, but it can also seat everybody comfortably. And you're never going to feel like you're a second-rate citizen in this thing, no matter whether you're the kid, the mom, the dad. Everybody gets their own little slice of real estate. Now, over here in the living area, you see that we've got these giant, huge max-size windows, and the slide-side windows also open for airflow. But once again, for entertainment purposes, like at night, it's nice to be able to just kind of die the lights down a little bit. And this has touch-sensitive dimmer switch lighting here in the main slide, and you can see that they were not shy about putting tons of lighting in this thing. What's also cool, guys, is your main cabin lighting, you can actually just operate right from your phone, along with the slides, along with the awning, along with the heating and cooling. Your phone is like the passport to operating this thing in like cool style and comfort. And as long as I'm looking up, speaking of cool, you'll find a standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner on all Cougar travel trailers. You don't have to pay extra to get the bigger air conditioner on the Cougars here at Haylett RV. So we can entertain everybody during the day, but you know, being a bunkhouse, eventually we got to put everybody to sleep. And this one certainly has no shortage of capacity in that respect. Starting right over here, you know, like most dinettes, this will fold down into a bonus sleeper. There is some storage below that as well. What's also cool is the base cushion that you're actually sitting on. It has the dinette decking built into it. So if you do need to get to the storage below, they actually made it a lot easier. Now, of course, you could pull those privacy shades down for sleeping, but I do like to demonstrate the fact that the theater seats also can be a handy little 2-kid sleeper. So this is very nice if you have a larger family, or if you just have a lot of kids to sleep. You can really rack them and stack them in the Cougar 29 BHS. Now, note the fact that we have separate upper and lower privacy shades. That is a great way to keep the kids from bickering at one another, which is a great way for mom and dad to enjoy themselves on a trip. Now, you've got power outlets in the bunk back there, so, you know, very handy for the bigs and the littles. There's outlets on both upper and lower bunks, by the way. You can probably see that here, but the idea there on a rainy day, kind of like today is kind of a drizzly day where you might be stuck inside a little bit. This is where you're really going to appreciate it. And having that built-in bunk ladder right here so that you don't have to throw the kids into the upper bunk is just going to be one of those things that'll, well, guys, your rotator cuff will thank you for it. But one of my other many favorite aspects of this floor plan is the monster cargo bunk garage that they put into this thing. So that lower bunk, all aluminum skeleton, exceptionally light in weight, very easy to fold up and down, which impresses me. It folds up out of the way. Now this compartment back here, this is large enough for things like bikes, and because like a lot of times you'll see a fold-up bunk and maybe you can back a bike in, but the bike handles aren't going to fit. They'll fit in here. You can really throw a ton of cargo in here. But what's also cool, guys, is on a rainy day, like today, if you need every ounce of floor space, if I was a little kid, you could throw my little totes with like some Legos or something down in those little cargo pockets, and this would be my own little adventure for it. I would just go bananas, having the best time in there all day. I would not feel disappointed whatsoever. Now, as we step into the bathroom, something I want to point out here is a neat little construction feature. And it's where you start to see, like you've seen a little bit of it already, but these Cougar trailers, they have a lot of like big camper features. And what's interesting is they're not trying to build an ultralight, but this thing comes in under 6,900 pounds and competes with a lot of lightweight products. But we've got thicker 3-inch walls with like fully studded out doors. We've got thicker 2-inch side walls. We've got the 0 degree package. This has big camper feels in a small camper segment. And that's what's really cool about this. Like tall person friendly shower. Between the vaulted ceiling and the skylight being mounted near the wall there, it is very nice for bigger folks like myself. Remember, this bathroom door is going to have a deadbolt, so don't have a heart attack. By the way, I like just the little detail stuff too, like the little towel hanging rack. A lot of campers lack stuff like that. It's small, simple things, and Cougar just, they do them very well. Then they do the big things well too, I suppose. Porcelain foot flush stool, not plastic. Again, a little higher grade here. Now, all of the counters here, like your kitchen, your bath counter, they're going to be a sealed edge pressed membrane, and that is a big sink. But I like that they gave you that sort of bulged out countertop space right there so that you have room for your blow dryers and whatnot using that GFI protected outlet. And then we get into the storage, and this thing just starts, and it's like it never stops. Starting with the aforementioned Pantrytainment Center. That's RV Nerdism number 37, if you're keeping track. The TV itself acts as a door, a big one, to a pantry, a big one. And that's another thing that this RV does well, is it utilizes like everything in two intelligent ways. Like the bunks convert to cargo. They can add a little bit of living space. The theater seating can be sleeping. The TV can be storage. It's like everything in this does two things. Now, all the way down to the floor, you see it's paneled off. The reason that is because there's an outside kitchen out there. And the outside kitchen's easier to reach because it's at belly to chest level, depending on how gravity friendly you might be. Whereas if this was storage inside, you'd have to get on your hands and knees and go armpit deep to get to that stuff, and that's not fun. So it just makes more sense this way. Now over here we have an 8 cubic foot fridge in conjunction with the outside fridge. We have about 10 cubic feet of total cold storage in this one, which is a really nice feature. It's handy to keep drinks outside and keep food inside. All the cabinetry's pocket screwed. It is all hardwood cabinet framed, or pardon me, nope. Pocket screwed with hardwood cabinet door framing. There is a difference there. I want to be very, I want to add a high level of specificity here. I don't want to like seem like I'm slinging half-truths. So the countertop is a pressed membrane variety, which allows them to recess the sink and the stove. And you see we've got this nice high-rise faucet with a pull-out sprayer head. There are 2 sink covers. I simply pulled one out so you could get a good look at that nice stainless deep sink there. And a flush mount stovetop, this tempered glass stove over here, maximizing our prep space. And you do have the little night light knobs if you need little air traffic controller lights for Johnny and Susie, as it were, or myself if I'm sneaking over leftovers. Leftovers don't last long in my house. I'm just putting that out there. Moving on. Big space for a wastebasket. Always a crowd favorite. My personal favorite. Now you've got an outlet there under the countertop, but you've got another outlet under the overhead kitchen cabinets as well. Now you've got 3 drawers here, and we'll come back to more drawers in a minute, but note that they're all plywood boxed. But a couple things. Right when you walk in the door, this is another instance of the Cougar having one thing that does 2 things. You've got this huge pantry closet. So you've got pantry behind the TV, you've got pantry in the closet, and booyah, motion sensitive lights kick on when you need them, where you need them. So they're not draining your battery constantly. And you can see you've got some nice big deep storage shelving over here as well. So we already saw the 3 drawers, in the, like, next to the sink area, but you've also got a pair of extra large drawers over here so that the storage that's under or behind the sink area, it's still easy to access, easy to get to. Now, before we sneak into the master bedroom, I do want to take a little second to look at the in-command system. So you can sync this to your phone, you can operate your interior lights, you can control your water pump and all kinds of stuff, the awning, remember your heating and cooling systems, and again, you can do this all right from your phone. So that's what's kind of neat. If you're outside, you need to like flip on the water heater, flip off the water heater, turn off the pump, something like you hear a noise running inside. You can grab your phone and you can see what might be operating it. Or if you're sitting in that theater seat and it gets too hot, you can crank up the AC. Or if you're in your bed at night and it's too cold, you could crank up the heat. You know, it gives you a lot of cool flexibility. Now, there's some key notes to point out here up front. Last year, this was a short camp king. It was wider than a normal RV queen bed, but it wasn't longer. It was a normal camp. It was like a camp bed length. Well, now it's a 70 by 80 full king bed. So how did they do that? Did they have to just make the RV 6 inches longer? And the answer is amazingly no. When they went to this front windshield generation, when they redesigned that nose cap, they found themselves able to to push the head of the bed 6 inches further forward. So now we have a 70 by 80 king bed in a camper that's still half-ton towable and not an inch longer than it was last year. Technically, it reads shorter. I mean, it's awesome. It's really awesome what they did here. Love how they fully framed that out. There is a privacy shade inside of that, but I do also like to point out the little side stands next to each side of the bed with the headboard, like the outlets all the way up by the head area. Very, very CPAP friendly in that regard. But the bed's also easy lift, so that extra storage, that big stuff, the extra blankets maybe you need if somebody is sleeping on the dinette or the hide bed, or just big chunks of stuff you have here, and it is separate from the outside storage. You also have TV hookups across from the bed, but a lot of people understand that. One of the questions I get all the time is, what's that? That is a thermostat probe. You have one of those in here, you have one in the living room, so that you have multiple areas where it's constantly checking the temperature. But what's also neat is the in-command system, you don't have to just operate it from your phone or the panel. You still have a light switch for the bedroom. You have another light switch for the living room back near the bunk area. So you can always operate this thing simply, easily, effectively. Because isn't easy supposed to be part of going camping, to just kick back and relax and have a good time? That's what Cougar does for you. And just like you have motion sensitive lighting in the pantry, you have another one right here by the door, so that it only kicks on when you come home, or you could just hard leave it on or hard turn it off. Really just kind of, I don't know, whatever you want to do. This thing gives you, everything in this RV gives you more than one option, it seems like. So back outside, can we really just take a moment to just kind of soak in and appreciate the aesthetics of what we're looking at? This is beautiful. This is the best looking Cougar generation I've seen, in my opinion. The 3/4 nose cap with that beautiful automotive inset windshield, because it is not a window, it is a windshield. Just like the 367 Cougar front living fifth wheel. That's where they got the idea. They said, man, we love to look at that. Let's do that everywhere. And woo, does she look good. So this is the obvious indicator of a new generation of Cougar compared to the previous white cap generation. And notice the consistency between the Cougar fifth wheels in the background. All Cougars kind of really look the same. And again, all Cougars, even the travel trailers, now 0 to 100 degree rated. Everything is tested and proven. They redesigned their entire heating and cooling and insulation package to get there. Now, we've still got, again, big camper features. We've got the easy power tongue jack. That's pretty common across the board, but the bigger propane tanks. And again, this is not necessarily built to be an ultralight RV. It just happens to fall into a decent weight range. We've got thicker 2-inch sidewalls, for instance, instead of 1.5-inch common like lightweight walls. Now, you've got a 3-year structural warranty on this, and those things are like a dime a dozen. But Keystone's is the most comprehensive out there. It does things like covers the paint on the nose cap. It covers the actual welds in the wall. It covers any like nut, bolt, or fastener basically that Keystone puts together. And you're thinking, yeah, but don't they all do that? And the answer is nope. No, not all of them do. So just a quick look, you'll see the nicer slam latches and metal catches and or magnet catches in action later. But I like to point out here, I like to leave one of these shut so you can see the nicer protected piano hinge that they have on this, so that the rain doesn't get into the hinge and cause it to spring. Over here we've got a simple solar prep plug, as well as a cable and water docking station, which also has your outside shower built into it. But we are now 0 to 100 degree rated. Now Cougars previously they had an enclosed belly. They had a 30,000 BTU forced air heating furnace. What are they doing different? Because before they called it a polar package, now they're calling it Climate Guard. What changed? Well, it's a lot of little things. First of all, we're going to begin at the roof. They added a layer of heat reflective material all the way through the roof, around the nose cap, and then in the underbelly. So that if you're trying to keep heat in, it'll stay in. If you're trying to keep the sun out, it'll keep the sun out. It's a very cool, kind of like if you put tin foil around a heat vent in your house to sort of help direct the heat. Similar concept, effectively. Then they added 12-volt tank heater pads to all your holding tanks, and the switch for those is located right up inside that front compartment door. Then they redirected their entire underbelly heating system. Instead of just having a hot air vent just sort of dump into the underbelly, they channeled it so that it runs along the side beams, which is where your water lines run, so that the heat ducting itself is actually heating the water lines. And then there's a T-junction off that heat duct that will direct force hot air onto each of the holding tanks. So you have insulated, direct forced air heated underbelly, direct forced air heated tanks, tank heater pads, and then reflective protection all the way around this thing. And that has helped them achieve something they have not done before. And there are not a lot of travel trailers that have actually tested and proven 0-degree functionality. There's just a few that like to say they have it. We have 4-corner power stabilizer jack standard on this. So once again, simpler, easier, comes standard on a Cougar. Push button operation, simple, easy, fun camping. That's the idea here. Now, we've got a prep for a Furrion backup camera, whether you're looking for rear view only or in motion models. Down here, if you choose to add a bike rack or something, you can do so on a Cougar without voiding your warranty. It shocks me how many RVs want to tout that like a 3-year of structural warranty, and then they do everything they can hoping you screw it up and you void it. Now back here, this is that big cargo section, so I mean, if you want to load bikes in here, you want to load cargo, you've got so many options. Once again, everything in this RV just gives you multiple options. Now, you've got reverse travel lights here. That's the white section on these LED tail lights. When you kick into reverse, this light will fire up, which is very handy if you're backing into a site at night to help your spotter see something, or if you're going to utilize that rear view camera so that you can see what you're doing again off the camera when you're just backing into your new destination. Alright, well I don't want this part to take longer than it has to. It's a little breezy today. It's not bad. It's nothing to damage an awning, but hey, I don't like to take any more chances than I have to. I did want to, however, show you the really big power awning they put on this, and I love the fact that it goes over both entry doors. It's I think a really smart placement, so that even if it is kind of a rainy, drizzly day, it really will extend your living space out here, on your patio area. And there's a lot of good stuff going on with this patio. So the front steps have those nice moor rides that we looked at, but back here, you still have an upgraded step of some variety, not a basic steel step. So these aluminum steps, they're a little sturdier. They don't tend to be slippery when wet, and you can see them a little better in the dark. Now again, it's a little bit breezy, and you might notice this door dancing in the wind a little bit, but you won't notice it slamming against the side of the trailer, even if you get pretty darn friendly with it, because they're both anti-slam doors, which is nice, and they're both a little bit wider than a lot of doors. Pardon my battery box, but here we've got our porcelain foot flush stool, because we do have this direct entry bathroom right here, which is really handy to be able to, get the kids in and get them cleaned up without tracking a lot of dirt through the RV, which is the other good part about that. Having a toilet right accessible right away keeps a lot of dirt out of the RV. But for privacy's sake, guys, remember, you do have a deadbolt door here, so no one's going to walk in on you. Now, this really pulls double purpose on this floor plan. I think it's one of the best uses of an outside shower in an RV I've really ever seen. Because first of all, before you send the kids in to take a shower and get cleaned up, or yourselves or anything like that, you can do a quick rinse. Or you could use this for a little campsite cleanup. You could use it as something of a outside kitchen sink with the placement of it. It's very multi-purposed. And the outside kitchen on this is kind of funny. When Cougar first built this floor plan, they kind of did some measuring, and a guy at the factory went, wait a minute, I think this is just enough. We could put a cooktop and an outside fridge down there, and lo and behold, it worked, and it worked like a fox. Well, I asked about that. I said, hey, I'll settle for lucky. Sometimes you just stumble into something that's cool, and that's kind of what happened here. But kind of like having the refrigerator available, or pardon me, the toilet available outside. Having a fridge available outside is also the other primary reason people tend to get in and out. So in conjunction with the 8 cubic fridge we have inside, remember, we have a 10 cubic foot total cold storage capacity on this Cougar. That's pretty cool. And that hot burning Capital Grill, it burns so hot, they literally can't use a wooden countertop because it becomes a fire hazard. It does burn that hot. Locally, it doesn't like radiate enough heat. It's not going to damage anything or anything like that. But that's why they have the nicer galvanized rolled steel weather resistant countertop here. And if you're not going to cook outside, nice little stainless steel prep space. How about that? Now the wheels are aluminum because who doesn't like aluminum wheels? And it should be noted, I forgot to turn them on. I always do that. We do have full length LED lighting under the base of the awning here. Another cool thing on this awning, not only does it have an auto rain dump feature, but it is an easy tilt awning. You can literally take just 2 fingers, crank the awning down like that, and give it one heck of a nice tilt. So that again, on those drizzly days, you can come out here, you don't have to necessarily mess with the awning, and if you close it when it's like that, it's also self-correcting, which is very, very cool. Now, up front behind that beautiful windshield, we'll see a couple fun things. We have nicer metallic slam latches with the easy one-hand magnet catches, and then down here in this very generous front storage compartment, we have the in-command system. This is basically the brain of the RV. So that digital touchpad that we saw inside, this is what it talks to. So it's maybe not much to look at, but I want to point out a couple things. Keystone was the first towable RV manufacturer to fully color code all their wires, and most of them still do not. So they're still doing something most brands aren't. And this basically replaces the common what you call fuse box in a camper. And the idea here is that these are better high voltage type systems that have superior reliability. I don't remember the last time, I don't know if we've ever had to work on something within command, but God forbid we did. It'd be a lot easier to get to all the wiring. The other thing is, let's say, God forbid, that digital touchpad inside gave up the ghost on us. Well, this thing right here is a motor selector, and then you have an on-off or in-out switch. So you can still have a manual switch. So if you want to run the awning, the slide motors or something like that, you can still do it all from right here. And we've got more of that motion sensitive lighting right here in the pass-through. So it's kind of like the refrigerator door light. It turns on when you need it, turns off when you don't. The tail and marker lighting also, all LED. I don't know if I mentioned that, and if I am repeating myself, well, hey, my apologies. I'd rather say it twice than not at all. Now up top here, I thought I'd just give you a nice look at the awning, and I like how they color-coded the awning to the RV. A lot of brands don't do that. Like sometimes you'll have like this like gray awning on a brown trailer or something. I don't know, it's not that it's the end of the world to be, but I like that Cougar had the forethought to make everything match. Now, you can see, I'm not using a fisheye lens. This does have a severely vaulted ceiling. It's double vaulted in and out. And one of the things I like about that is that when I walk around here, it's something that you folks can't feel and experience. You kind of got to take my word for it. But this has one of the most solid, most walkable feeling roofs of almost anything I've been on. And you notice they are not shy about being really heavy-handed with sealants up here. And that's something I like to see from a factory level. I like to know that they're not trying to cut corners and nickel and dime where people aren't looking. Even where you're not looking, Cougar's still doing it extra, you know? Like the thicker walls, the big camper feeling, the bigger bed, the bigger furniture, everything this feels like a big RV, yet it's something perfect for a half-ton towable family. And that's one of the reasons why this model is kind of just a personal favorite of mine, because it just does friggin' everything in a one-slide half-ton towable family bunkhouse. It's hard to beat, so maybe that's why it's so darn popular. Give us a call here at Haylett RV, guys. We only do everything except for hidden dealer fees. We don't do those, but short of that, we do hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything between. Like, there goes a Keystone Passport cousin to this Cougar right now. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone. Hope to hear from you soon. Remember, nobody's too far away to work with us. That's nonsense.